Happy Friday. Supposed to be a different feeling I'm having today. It's Friday's end of the week. Creed came out today.
That's right.
By the way, look, everybody, look, maybe it's not your cup of tea. Go watch Cocaine Bear if you want to laugh for 2 hours.
That's really funny for real.
If you, man, look, Cocaine Bear is the most ridiculous, silly, crazy horror film vibe movie, and the fact that it's based on true stuff is absolutely insane. Bro, I laughed at the. You know how you laugh at you're ashamed you laugh. Like I should
It's
not
like
be laughing
stupid
at this.
stuff.
I should not be laughing at this, but that is funny. That is funny. Yo, it was well worth the matinee price. You know, movies like that, matinee price.
Got
You
it.
know what I mean? Matinee price. But I actually would have paid full price to see it. It was enjoyable for me. Lucky Lefty podcast. For the Culture Friday, the Nora boys are in the building. I'm your boy Shaun Davis. That dude right there, Malik Zaire, the original Lucky Lefty himself. We are brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you do so.
Responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly, man. It's a great day. Great day. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk game plans or planning for the quarterbacks with Gino Gaduli being officially announced as a quarterback coach. We're going to talk about Sam Hartman, transition he needs to make and what he needs to do. Look, Jay Carr agrees, dude. Thank you, Jay Carr. It was funny. It just I was looking for something dramatic because it was based upon a true story. So I'm like, okay, dude, I'm going to see how this actually played out. And I knew they would add some Hollywood to it. But what they actually did with it, because the story is so far fetched left, that's just a dude. Just think about that. A bear on
Yeah,
cocaine?
like how did they even like create a story from it? Like I feel like it doesn't go too deep. The bear gets on the
No,
drugs,
they
and then what? Did they try to kill the bear? I guess.
they took the story. Because basically the story is, yo, we make the drop. The dealers have to come pick up their package. In the meantime, a bear is finding their packages. And you don't realize it took me like 15 minutes into the movie, like to realize, like, oh snap, the bear is an addict.
Like it became an addict.
It became an addict, dude. Like it became
Like
an
for
addict,
real.
like real life. It became an
Yeah.
addict. You know what I'm saying? And you
Like
never
like
think
a how
about that.
like a person would become an addict.
Yes, like he
Okay.
had to have a fix, right? So
So
imagine,
what's the story
dude.
then?
The story is, it's like it's just people going walking through, and he's attacking people because he's a black bear. You know, allegedly black bears don't attack people, right?
Oh,
The brown bears are the ones that attack people. So all of a sudden, he just becomes this killing machine because anyone that touches or smells like they've been around the cocaine,
oh, it's over for you.
like, dude, they had scenes where the bear was like hitting lines, dude. Like it was a lot. And the
That's
bear
so
just straight, the
stupid.
bear was just like, dude, it was so, man, I'm telling you, the way they did it, they made it so outrageous and so funny, dude. It was crazy. And the fact that it was based off a true story. And then they kind of turned it into like a family story, blended in there with a mother and a daughter. But it's, man. And then, yeah, and then a father son on the other side with the dealers. They did a good job, bro, because they made it just crazy enough to be entertaining, right? Because hearing the story itself, you're saying, how in the world is this
Right.
a movie, right? They took it there, bro. I
Uh,
man, I didn't go
I
in
have
the
to see
theater.
it.
I did not go in the theater expecting to laugh that hard. I did not. I did not. But I'm happy I went to see it. But I'm not feeling good, left. If we get to that,
Really?
Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube channel, smash the like button for us. Go ahead and subscribe, share the podcast, let everybody know, leave your comments. We respond to all comments. CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. We are the home of the misguided passion. And you already know we spin it different. Left, I'm a little upset with you today, bro.
Mm.
It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. No. I'm not even talking about that. We'll get to that. It's your fault. We've been waiting 35 years for a national championship, Left. It's your fault.
Oh, shoot.
It's your
It ain't
fault,
my
man.
fault.
It's your fault.
We had a window.
In preparation, yeah, give us a second, LL Nation. You know, that's my brother. I love my brother, man. But it's his fault, LL. It's his fault, man. Because, you know, in preparation for these new coaches, I've been watching a lot of video. A lot of Notre Dame games, a lot of Cincinnati games, a lot of Wisconsin games. And I stumbled upon a week 2 game from 2015. Hey, man. I know it was an early start at Virginia, dude, but come on, fam. You can't come out. You can't come out like that against Virginia, bro. What was up? Y'all got into Charlottesville late or something?
Man, it was a tackle that should be outlawed in football.
I'm not even talking about the tackle. I'm just talking about the first half, dude.
Oh, we was right.
Oh, look. You were right, dude. You were like 5 for 15 in the first half.
Let me think. Oh, what was going on?
And how are you all not prepared for the blitz off the edge? How?
The reason is for whatever reason, they just didn't want to take the chains off early on, which was so interesting. I'm like, because you saw how we came out and we threw the 1-play touchdown on the wheel. That was the whole game.
That was in the second half.
Yeah, that was. But they said that
beautiful, beautiful throw, by the way.
But that was the whole. But that was the whole. That's what we could have did in the beginning. But they just was baby stepping the whole process for whatever reason, and so we were real predictable. We were getting in 31s and couldn't run the football and just silly stuff. So, but it all comes back to, you know, when you're putting together an offense early in the season, a lot of factors are going into it in terms of the week-to-week process, and we were figuring it out, but we were also heating up. I mean, we was getting explosive plays, you know, throughout the whole game. And then if you look before the half, like the 2 drives before the half, we could have – I made a bad read where I should have kept it. We would have scored on 3rd and 1. And then the pass I had to Will, he should have caught that. And we would have been like on the 30 with like a minute or so left, probably would have scored again. So, you know, we shot ourselves in the foot. But second half,
Justin Young was on something that game too.
Yeah, it was weird. Just weird stuff.
It's just, like that dude is always like, it was a weird day. It's like, man, early start. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this squad. The pass the wheel coming out in the second half was beautiful, right? And you guys come back.
And we started hitting run. We literally hit a big run the next drive, and then got hurt to play out.
Man, see, this is my problem, man. Even on the big run, dude, go down, man. What are you doing? You know this Shaun ain't ready to come out the oven. Man. See, that's my issue with you, bro. You know darn well Deshaun ain't ready to come out the oven, bro. Now, he might be a little gold brown on the top, but he's not fully done.
But in 2016, I was telling Kelly that. I literally I said, listen, he's not ready to do this as the one to be in the front doing it. It was cool last year because the machine was rolling. But this was a very young team that he was supposed to lead the charge. He wasn't ready for that. And I told him that. I literally told him that.
You had the big run, the second drive. No, that was the third drive. The first drive, you guys didn't do anything. Second drive, you hit Will for the long touchdown, 58-yarder. Come back, 38-yard run. You get into scoring range, right? And then you guys get to 2nd and 6. Yo, why second and 6? Why are you calling a boundary screen pass to Breezy?
It goes back to just
you couldn't even see Breezy because
calls. It was stupid calls because they just wouldn't call the plays how they would call the plays for Tommy Reese or anybody else. They just kept making it seem like we couldn't do more than what we could do. And super simple, like unnecessary, put us in third and obvious pass situations because you're wasting first and second down with silly stuff,
Virginia was playing man-to-man on Will all day.
I know.
And so on that drive, what was the miscommunication with you and Will? Because you and Brian Kelly got into it, right? It's a 3rd and 6. Will is to the field on the outside, and you throw either a stop, either you thought he was going to stop or run it out. It looked like a timer route, and Will kind of kept going like it was miscommunication, and then Kelly was mad at you on the sideline. You were letting Brian Kelly have it. Like you, because he kept following you to the bench, and you turned around like, yo, look, I'm telling you what I saw. I'm telling you what I said.
Oh, was that during where the timeouts was coming or something like that?
Yeah, of course, you guys did get a delay penalty because they didn't get the play in.
Yeah, we had called a timeout, but that wasn't me. I think the announcers were saying he was talking to me. He wasn't talking. He was talking to Tory because I guess it was a personnel issue. Because that's the other thing. We have all these guys talking about the play, but then the personnel they'll have another conversation about. So you got guys rotating in and out, and they didn't line up on time, or whatever. So we had called a timeout. He wasn't talking to me though, but going into the half, I mean, we really had a solid communication. It was just more they didn't think that I would be as nice as I was going to be. That's what it was. So it was more like, do we keep allowing him to do more, or do we act like we can't run anything and run basic stuff all the time? So that's kind of the struggle that it became. But we were ripping off explosive plays because we were better than the other team, and we had a real chemistry. We're really good on things that we wanted to do, but there was so many opportunities to be more explosive, but we would just be like, all right, it's 3rd and 1. Let's bring in 3 tight ends and run an obvious run, read options. It was like just silly ass, elementary.
Instead of just keeping them spread out because they're man to man.
Yeah,
and constantly blitzing the linebackers from off the edge. They did that all day.
They did it the whole time. So it was just like I don't know. But we ended up figuring it out. Even after the play I got hurt, we scored the next play. So it was, one of those games where we did a lot of good things and we were cooking, and it's so early in the season, it would have been great to see how the rest of the season unfolded, especially getting into Clemson after the Georgia Tech game that next year.
You're not getting off that easy, dude, because I'm still mad at you. Still mad at you, okay? Because you come back the 3rd drive, you hit Breezy on the over route. Nice touch pass, by the way, because you had to get it over the linebacker right in front of the group.
I like to say that best touch out of the group.
You do. That was a beautiful touch pass. Beautiful touch pass. You come back and you get down. The play call was easily for CJ. But no, you just had to make it about you, dog. You had to go back to the quarterback draw, didn't you? You just had to make it about you. Now I have to experience watching you on the cart all over again as a fan. Do you know the feelings and the emotions this brought back for me?
No, it was terrible. So that play I got hurt on, it was an RPO, and it was like before the play, I'm like, all right, if he comes off the edge, we're going to throw the out route because we got the numbers. but he was coming from distance. So I'm like, I can outrun him to the corner and he'll just be chasing from behind. We'll get yards either way. Call the play, get the look. He's coming. I see him, but I'm already front side. I'm like, all right, cool. I go and I jumped over somebody or something and was just looking to get the 4 yards, but I felt the dude that was chasing me like have me from behind. And you know when you feel somebody pull you and like try to sweep under you. And you know, I think a lot of it was because I was kind of big, so I wasn't like a small quarterback. So I think a lot of guys think that like, oh, I gotta hit him low because he's just a solid dude up top. So a lot of dudes try to like do those kind of tackles or whatever. And I'm going down, but then somebody hit me from the side, so I couldn't like fall the right way. And once he hit me from the side, that's when the guy like fell back on my leg, and there was nothing I could really do at that point. So when I heard it, I tried to get up real quick, like, oh, I was praying it was a sprained ankle because I was thinking about the Clemson game, to be honest.
See, you just made me mad. You just take me off. You just made me worse.
I was serious. I was seriously thinking about the Clemson game. I said, swear to God, please. I'm like, it's just a rolled ankle, you know, like, but I definitely heard it pop. So I'm like, it cannot be before the Deshaun Watson Clemson game. Like, 'cause that's the only game I was circling, you know, I was talking shit in the pregame, training camp and all that. I really wanted to play that game because I knew it would mean a lot later in the season. And, you know, it happened. I got up, couldn't feel it, and I was like, oh, it's over. So, you know.
Just hand the ball off, Left. Just hand the ball off.
But it goes back to crazy position that you put your quarterback in. You know, you got me running just like Tyler Buckner. I got the most carries in the first 2 games, damn near.
Left, you knew what was behind you.
Yeah, no.
You knew.
But I also knew that we were so put together at that time that
man, we deserve an apology, Left.
No, like I really wish I wouldn't have gotten hurt. I think that would have changed.
Wait. LL Nation, this right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast, we're about to give you the apology that you deserve, the long-awaited apology that you never got from Left.
And I'm really, you know, upset that I felt like that was the year out of all the football years that I played. I felt really, really good about that year in 2015. And it was like one of those things where you feel so good that you're like constantly thinking in the back of your mind, everything will go fine as long as I don't get hurt. So it's like that thing, it's like that negative self-talk because everything was just too perfect. You know, it was just too bad. 3 years left. You know, we had the perfect setup with the best O-line. We had Will Fuller. We had the run game. You know, I was cooking. I felt good with the offense. We had Jalen Smith, you know, so I was like, defense is straight.
No, except for the coach.
And the coach didn't matter because he was literally, I'm like, seriously, we were running obvious right and left stuff, and it didn't matter. Like the team would be like, oh, they're running right. We'll run right, get 8 yards. You know, it was stuff like that. It was at a point where I was like, we are really, really good. And I knew we were different because I could throw it deep. And we could, and me and Will and me and Breeze and stuff, we had connection deep. So I'm like, if we can throw it deep and we're a run team, I don't know how teams beat us. Mm-hmm. And then if we mess around and really start opening up the pass game, which I was always telling them about, we should be throwing the ball because we had so many receivers at the time that I had good connection with. So I'm like, we can, any way you want it, we can give it to you type of thing. So
the pass to Will, wait a minute, because I want to, right there, I don't want to interrupt your apology. So you can continue in a second. The pass to Will, the touchdown pass, 58 yards. Was that 4 verts?
Yes,
It looked like it was okay. It looked like it was
we
4 verts.
came out of that. We was like, why are we playing with this team? Call 4 verts. It was max protection. Only 2 dudes went out, Corey and Will and Corey. It was like, we're better than you. We're just gonna bomb you this first play, let you know that this is not a close game. This is not nothing where you're playing with us. The stuff that I wish we would have did last year against teams that we're way better than. Just bomb them one play, let them know. We're way better than you. It's another level. Like, side note, interesting thing about the another level thing. Isaiah Foskey run a 4.5.
Right.
2 Georgia D linemen. 2 Georgia D linemen
left.
Ran a 4.3.
Look, I wanted to get into that today. But we're gonna save that.
That's another level, though.
Just in case you don't understand what the difference is. Like, yo, we saw Foskey post this time, and we were like, "Oh man, that's fast."
Oh man!
And then wait a minute, and then the captain of the defense that got hurt and didn't even play comes out and runs a 4.44, and you're like,
and it was 2 of them that ran under 4.4s. D linemen.
You're like, okay.
We had a 25 all-school record, 25 sack leader, Isaiah Foskey, great player, legendary, obviously, got the record, this and that. Goes to the combine, and his numbers prove he's just another guy. But there's 2 Georgia D linemen in the same combine, same team, same draft class that posted extraordinarily better numbers than Isaiah Foskey, who was our best player on defense.
And I see people in the chat. I don't want to hear nothing about weight. You running 4.4 at 240 plus 240, 235. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Oh man. I mean, so that is honestly where the difference is. And we love Foskey. But Foskey might not even start at Georgia the way they had the athletes down there on the D line. Or he'd be a rotational player or something.
But I had to put Nolan Smith on the petty train the other day.
Oh, yeah, come on here, right? Come on.
He said they do more with less at Georgia. Yeah, that's what he said, love. That's what he said. He said we do more with less at Georgia. That's what he said.
Not 25 stars. We're not hearing that.
That's what he said. Look at man. Go ahead and finish your apology though, because this is needed.
That's no different than him talking about teams thought we was gonna be 7-5 this year too.
He's the same dude. He's the same dude. But go ahead. Your apology was beautiful. You were going in the right direction. Though. We are still suffering another 8 years later.
Yo, man, I thought 15 and 16 could have been the year because I did think that with Miles, EQ, and Chase, I mean, that's a squad for real. Miles, EQ, and Chase, Dex, Glenchie, Q, Sam, and then a young guard and tackle. That offense is damn near better than the last one. Because all 3 of them is in the league. That's why I was disappointed with 16. I'm like, come on, dude. We got Miles, Boykin, Chase, and EQ, and Dex, and 33 Trucking, and Q, and McGlinchey senior year. 4-year starter Sam Mustipher. That's me. There's no reason we was ever 4-8 with that. All 3 of those guys, Dex included, Josh included, Q included, Mike included, all went to the NFL. And we 4-8. 7 games lost by last drive on offense going in. 7 of the 8 games was lost on the offensive drive going into school. 7 of the 8. Stanford, Clemson, Duke, Michigan State, all of them. Like, so I'm just saying, 16 could have been just as good as 15. 15 was just more of like we all felt like, yeah, this is it. 16 was like we're losing a lot of senior leadership, but we're not losing any talent to still go do the damn thing. We just need the right leaders in the seniorship positions, like quarterback. You need your DN to be, that guy, that type of thing. So we had Q and Glinch, and so we had everything we needed.
Mm-hmm.
It just when one position or the coaching staff isn't in sync with the team, a great team like that will have a 4-8 record, and everybody be like, "Why? How is that even possible?" I think the 16 team was more talented than anything 2018 was doing. I mean, I would take everybody that started on 8 on.
Oh, that's you're saying something. You're saying something right there.
I would take everybody that started on 16's offense over everybody that started on 18's offense. So it's like we had a better offense going in 16 that rivals a lot of the years that it just was a bad record, but the talent, I mean, they're still in the league.
Mm-hmm.
All the receivers we say we didn't have, they all had crazy 40s.
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 receivers on the same team that all ran 4.3s. They were all 6'3" and up, all had crazy combine numbers and are still in the league. And we were 4-8. With 2 running backs, one of them that was up for the Heisman at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And the backup that went to the league too. With a first-round Hall of Fame guard and a left tackle that was first round. How do you go 4-8? But that's whatever.
So you can go ahead and seal it. You can seal your apology. Say, man, 15 and 16 is on me.
15 and 16 is on me because
I audible. Just go ahead. Just say 15, 16. I should have never left you, Notre Dame. Irish fans, I should have never left you. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Cover it all.
16 was a setup.
Come on, man.
It wasn't right.
Cut him, man. If you don't make the audible,
I apologize.
If you don't get selfish and try to run the ball, we don't have to experience 16.
You're right.
Okay, then. Just go ahead and seal the apology, Left. Just seal it.
I apologize. I should have.
You ruined my morning. Go ahead and seal the apology to the Irish fans.
Should have threw the out route on the RPO. And I told Coach Kelly that when he came into the hospital. I said, should have threw the out route.
When he came into the hospital. Ain't this about something? Now you learned your lesson after you destroyed 2 seasons.
But that's not fair, though, because, in that same hospital room, he told me that we was going to be straight and that I was going to be able to get back for the 2016 season. We was going to win a championship. So, half of that gotta be displaced on somebody else because they was lying to me. That's all. If he had lied to me, I would have, maybe would have did something different. But he had lied to me all the way up until the kickoff of the Texas game the next year. So, it tells you a lot.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Hey, man, I hope you enjoy us, man, because we like to have fun. I told Left, I said, I'm sorry, man. My whole mood changed when I watched the Virginia game. Mood.
It's
great, man. I'm looking forward to the weekend. My niece has a birthday this weekend. My nephew's birthday is today.
It's a lot of March birthdays. I got a lot of March birthdays too.
Sure. Yeah, Aries bring it in for the real cats, us Tauruses.
Here we go.
It's all good.
Nobody even knows when an Aries is born.
Aquarius and Aries. Well, I'm not an Aries. I said Aquarius and Aries bring it in for the real ones, us Tauruses.
Tauruses?
I don't know what you're laughing at, boy. I can run down the list of historical Tauruses. It is what it is.
Is a Pisces, so what's that about then?
Oh, now you acknowledge it. You want to use his astrological sign to acknowledge he's the GOAT now? Get the heck, Lucky Lefty podcast.
I'm just
Apple Podcast, Spotify. Apple Podcast, Spotify, in conjunction with Irish Breakdown via CFB Nation. All about great content. Go check it out now. Man, matter of fact, look forward to some great podcasts from Brian Roberts. He's down at the NFL Combine right now. I'm sure he's going to have some great podcasts coming up over at CFB Nation. Lock in. Home of the Misguided Passion. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know we spin it different. Let's talk about this combine thing because people want to know, right? What's the difference between Notre Dame and, say, Georgia? All right. I see people talking in the chat, and this is interesting because we thank Ant_VR for always tapping in with us. And he says, Will Anderson ran a 4.69. I'll take Foskey's 4.58 all day. You can take that 40. I'll take the player though. You can have Foskey's 4.58. Give me Will Anderson on the field.
Yeah, give me Will Anderson on the field for sure.
If you're forcing me to make a choice as a player, give me Will Anderson on the field. With all due respect.
Yeah, with all
this, I love and appreciate.
It has nothing to do with us not loving Foskey.
Nothing.
It's just
at
like,
all.
And did you see all them awards and accolades the man had? I mean, what do you say to that?
It's just crazy, man. You know, you start to see, and people don't think it makes a difference, but that extra 10th of a second or that extra 0.2 of a second can mean a lot of things on a football field. It can be the difference between a tackle and a broken tackle. It can mean the difference between a sack and the ball getting out right before you get there. Yo, it is, man, you need those type of dudes, man. You know, you need those Keon Keeleys. You need those Peyton Bowens. As much as I think he's a person of low character at this point in his life, and I hope he grows up. Oh, Peyton Bowen. Very questionable character.
Can an 18-year-old, 17-year-old have low character, really?
Are you kidding me?
This early in the game?
Are you kidding me? Dude, wait a minute. I'm the person that I am very objective, bro. You know, I work with teams. I've worked with teams my entire life. All I do is have empathy towards teams. Come on, bro. You go to high school with some dudes that have some low character.
Okay, but objectively, though, you gotta
objectively looking at
gotta consider.
Okay, what am I considering?
Different factors at a 17 or 18 decision making, though.
A liar is a liar, correct? Correct? A liar is a liar, correct?
Okay, is Jalen Carter a liar?
Yes. He lied. Yes.
Okay,
yes, he is.
Okay, we gotta put his shoes on. You the number one pick in the draft. You gonna tell them cops you was racing? You number one pick.
Dude, I'm a star. I'm a star at the University of Georgia.
You're the number one pick.
The first thing I would have done is call Kirby. That's the first thing I would have done. Like, yo, coach, man, this is what happened. Such and so just wrecked. Man, what should I do? Like,
he's not at 18. You're thinking that. At 18, you're thinking that.
Dude, stop. What football players aren't taught? If something happens on campus,
wait a minute.
Let us know.
Wait a minute, though. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Come on.
You the number one pick. You were doing wrong.
Okay.
Some tragic stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because remember, he left. He said, "I'm going." He came back an hour later.
That's not low character. Bouncing. That's hit and run. So if somebody hit you and then took off, that wouldn't be low character.
It wasn't a hit and run. It was
no. I just used the example.
Hit and run different. Now that's low character if you hit him.
Your friend just died
in
a race. You all driving and racing. Yes. And you took off. You don't stick around to see if they're okay. You don't stick around to tell the policeman this is what happened. I'm so sorry. None of that. Like,
you're not scared.
None of that.
You're not scared at 18. You're not scared at 18. You're just gonna sit there like the responsible adult and be like,
if Will Fuller was in an accident that you saw, would you pull off? would you pull off? That's your boy that just crashed. Would you pull off?
No, I wouldn't pull off. But that we're not talking about me.
Because you have high character. Because you have high character.
No, we're talking about a kid that's 17, 18.
No,
that's going to be the number one pick in the draft.
He is 21, fam. He is 21. He is 21 years old.
When did it happen, though? When did it happen?
Months ago. He's 21.
That was last year. My bad. Okay. He's still a kid. He's not a kid. Okay. So.
No, look, I have a 20-year-old. The missus, we treat her like a kid at 20. So I understand what you're saying. Like, no, you're not grown. You still need help. You still need wisdom.
Exactly.
I understand. But she has high character, though. I can tell you that.
So fear doesn't play
into that. I can tell you
situation.
You know your children. At some point, look, Left, I'm telling you, somebody could come tell you about Lil Leak, and you would know within the first 4 words whether or not he did it. You'll know. You'll be like, yep, that's Lil Leak. I know him. I know him, right? Look, I know what baby girl would do. I know. Baby girl has high character. I'm not even worried about that.
I'm just saying, fear matters.
I know if her girl crashes, she's not leaving the scene hiding.
In your opinion, if you're in fear of losing it all, if you're in fear of losing it all, generational wealth, $60 million in the future.
Left. It's the NFL.
He was guaranteed 20.
Wait, left. It's the NFL. They're still going to draft him in the first round after he lied and showed low character. They're still going to draft him in the first round. So what if he showed high character?
The NFL is low character, though.
Went ahead and faced the tickets, told detectives what it was, and said, "Ma'am, my fault," and was accountable to the situation from the jump. Guess what NFL teams would have said? You know what? That's the type of dude. That's the type of dude I would love in my locker room.
How many 18-year-olds with stakes?
He's 21. Left. Stop saying 18.
Okay. 3 years different. 3 years make a difference, in your opinion?
Are you kidding me?
3 years? I think
absolutely.
I think 10-year increments make a difference. 3
years.
Like, if you live to be 90 years old, 3 years is like a blip in time.
You're a totally different person at 20, 21 than you are at 18. Or you should be.
If your environment changes, how much can change when you on a little campus for 3 years in a row? I think that, yes, he was wrong for lying, for sure. The fear in the stakes of what he was going through in the heat of battle, knowing that he may not have directly caused it.
He didn't. You can't blame him for someone else's decision to race.
He was involved, though. He was there.
Yes.
So he's thinking like, shit, I didn't do it necessarily, but I was there. So maybe it wouldn't be
once again, no thought to the people he just left the restaurant with and what's going on with them. None. No thought to his friends. None. I'm about to bounce.
He was scared. Okay, so we don't count for nothing for fear. Got it. I just think
my fear is that my friends might be dead. That's my number one fear.
He probably knew. He probably saw it and was like, "Oh yeah, it's done for." That's crazy.
So he just that just gave me
said, "Man, hell no!" Like, it's probably so traumatic. You gotta think. You see a car going 100 and something and smash into something crazy, and you right there. You like, "Oh my god!" Like, what you talking about? You gonna pull over, get out the car, and be like, "Hey, 911. Hey, I just was racing, and just this huge fire crash, literally indirectly because of me, and I need you to come tell me I'm responsible." You're not thinking about that. He probably thinking like, "Oh my god, like I need to just get out of here. Somebody call my mom." You talking about call Kirby. He ain't thinking nothing about no Kirby.
Wait a minute. It doesn't have to be Kirby, but you need to stop. Every look, maybe football. I'm about if you have innocence, if there are young people watching with their parents right now, put us on mute or make them leave the room.
I agree. Jalen Carter.
We're about to take the Santa Claus. We're about to take the Santa Claus out of college football. Okay. Are the kids out of the room? You guys, the kids are out of the room. You got your kids out of the room. Because some of our listeners and watchers actually have their kids watch. And we appreciate our young fans. Make sure they're out of the room. Okay?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, they're gone. Every major Power 5 university has a fixer.
Yes.
Every major college basketball and college football program has a fixer.
Yeah, they do.
That's it. So I don't want to hear it. It didn't have to be Kirby. It didn't have to be Kirby.
It's the one number you get when you get there. The first
Thank
number
you
get on college.
Call the fixer. Yo, man.
Yeah.
It's going down right now. I need to know. Call your people.
Numbers you gotta call from the payphone. You can't even call.
Call your people, Athens police, and let them know. Man, I'm on the scene.
Yeah.
So when the officers get there, they already know. Like, relax. Let us take care of this. Look, so kids can come back in now.
See, I feel like Nick Saban said, "What kid makes a mistake? Y'all want to crucify the kid, send him back to the gulag or wherever situation that he was coming from. But what about being redemptive towards the kid in some ways? Now, obviously, he didn't directly cause the incident. He should have had higher character in handling the situation.
Okay.
Does that determine the kid to not have high character overall? Or does the one moment, like Nick Saban said, does one moment define the whole kid's future?
Absolutely not. That's why he's still getting drafted in the first round.
The NFL is low character. I think he was getting drafted first, regardless of the story.
Like much as people are calling in
or something. Like
people are calling in on sports radio in Chicago talking about, no, you have to pass on him. I'm like, man, shut up. Nobody cares. Man, draft that dude. Ryan Poles, draft that dude.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chicago, man.
And I'm not saying he will be my draft pick. I'm saying if you want him, draft him. If that's who you identify as the best player, draft him. Because I do not think this incident, I do think it's a trend. He did get stopped months ago in Vegas for speeding as well. So obviously he has an affinity for racing, the cars, something he needs to learn from. He can get over it. Hopefully. Or he won't be in the NFL for too long. But man.
See, I'm too afraid to go that fast, honestly.
I've hit triple digits one time. Yeah, in my dad's Corvette. I hit triple digits and I was fine as long as I was driving. It was when I hit the brakes that it scared me. It literally.
Yeah, you're going fast as hell.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't even like flying on planes for real. So the whole speed, I like the speed limit. I think the speed limit is very reasonable. You know what I'm saying?
What's the speed limit in LA or California? 70?
So you can't see this is different out here.
Yeah, because y'all don't get to open it up. There's always traffic.
No, this ain't even the speed limit don't exist.
Have you ever
a variety of things in California?
Have you ever driven Route 1? Along the coast?
Yeah. Is that going to like San Francisco or something like that?
Yeah, but it's going like Malibu too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can hit the boo off one. That's scary. That's scary at night.
That's what I'm saying. All that stuff is scary though because it's like
it's one lane and
anything can happen.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it worse because it's like for what? Like you can't just drive down the street regular. You know what I mean? That's why I don't be understanding the whole speed thing.
Yeah. It's crazy. Hey, coming up in a few moments, we're gonna have our special guest that we have each and every Friday. I got some Rock Financial. But before we get to that, we want to talk about the quarterbacks at Notre Dame. And Gino Guidugli, we've already talked about previous shows this week. Go and tap in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. We've already talked about the benefits of Notre Dame now having a quarterback coach that can constantly be there for the quarterbacks at Notre Dame that have suffered through a lack of development over the last decade. But we want to talk about the individuals, what we're expecting from each quarterback now that they have resources that other quarterbacks at Notre Dame did not have. I think the most important one and the most interesting one we're going to talk about is probably Tyler Buckner, right? But Sam Hartman, he comes over and he comes from a mesh concept, RPO, pro style, transition. Gino Guidugli, a.k.a. Left. What are the expectations of Sam Hartman? Like, what are the benefits of Gino Guidugli now having a relationship with Sam Hartman?
Sam Hartman's, to me, in my opinion, his value is in those 3 games that, usually determine our future every season, which is the Ohio State, Clemson, and USC game. That's his value. All these other games, I mean, we can plug and play any dude we got in those situations. And I would expect us to come out victorious because we're supposed to win those games. The 3 games that are up in the air, I think that's why we wanted Sam. If it wasn't that case, I think Tyler would be fine. If we had the expectations of just making it a good season or being over 500 or just getting to the playoffs, I think they believe they can at least get to the second to last, if not the last game with Sam, provided everything falls in the right way, how Marcus Freeman is setting it up. But, what Gino Guidugli could do is just instill confidence in a guy like Sam who's coming into a new program because he's only got 1 year, so it's a lot to really encapsulate on what you can do great with those guys while it's only 1, so I think it'll be important for Sam and Gino Guidugli to really just get comfortable with each other enough to operate on a basis where it can help the offense score more points. Because when it comes to more points, that's what the objective is. And I think Sam being at Notre Dame can help that factor out with the help of the receiver room. But that all comes with chemistry and being locked in on what the offense is going to look like. And with Gerard Parker, that's going to be important for what direction you want to head into the season, because we can easily be still a 60-40 run team. But if we want to really take that next step, especially with the guy like Sam Hartman, we should definitely get a 60-40 pass, in my opinion, and have the run be more effective than it is for volume.
Now, this is going to be very interesting because we saw improvement, right, in the Gator Bowl from Tyler Buckner. Was the improvement development, or was the improvement taking all of the weight off of his shoulders and allowing him to just play and be better after he got bowl prep to kind of improve and come back from injury and get stronger? I'm just very interested, shall I say, in how Gino Guidugli is going to view Tyler Buckner based upon the film that he sees. Like, what does he see with Tyler Buckner? Because you've been high on Tyler Buckner since he got here as a freshman, as far as getting him the ceiling he has if used correctly and coached correctly.
Yeah, I think his potential comes through experience and him figuring out how to smooth his own game out, because I do think he's explosive, or at least dynamic enough to be a threat offensively, throwing the football and running the football. I think he plays. I don't think he's an instinctual football player. I think he's a good football player from the aspect of giving great effort and having some athletic ability matched with that effort. But I don't think he's a Caleb Williams, naturally instinctual football player. I think he's a smart kid that's going to give you, 100% effort, and you can win with that. The ability he has can take you a far ways because he's got kind of that Jalen Hurts determination and self confidence that he can get it done, even if he's not the naturally gifted Spencer Rattler throwing the football. He can find ways to make it happen with his feet or throwing it in situations. But he's going to take some risk, and I think that's where it can having that natural instinct and natural ability helps as a quarterback, because some of the risks that Tyler Buckner takes just seems like huge mistakes. Like I know not to throw that, and I'm sitting on the couch. But where some of the mistakes that that I think that he can improve on is something where Geno can really step in at and help his decision making, being that he can spend more time helping him with the offense and staying with him consistently through these practices, even if he's not taking all the 1 reps.
I think Tyler Buckner, and this is look, the rubber's gonna meet the road sometime after the spring for Tyler Buckner. He's gonna have to talk to his family. He's gonna have to take a step back and consider what's best for him. With his injury history, does he want to play more football? Or does he want to take advantage of a situation that might be better for him in the 2023 season? Go ahead, have a good season, and try to make it to the next level. Those are questions he's going to have to ask of himself. Or does he stay and stick around at Notre Dame and allow himself to be developed and allow Geno Guidugli to get his hands on him and do for him what he did for Desmond Ridder?
Yeah, I think Desmond Ridder and Tyler, I think, are 2 different players. That I think Geno understands that as well. Where I think Desmond was more of the RPO pocket. You can do a little bit more, but Tyler adds a dynamic that you can really create an offense on him. Creating time in the pocket. Some quarterback design runs, some option stuff. Get a little bit more that you can do with Tyler. But like you said, if you can't stay healthy, that just makes it a very delicate way of going about development, because which direction do you go? Do you got to really coach him on things like how to fall. I think when having a quarterback coach, when I was at Notre Dame, we had drills on how to fall. I think you only really get that with the quarterback coach, because you literally have zero time as an offense coordinator to think of stuff like that, especially when it can help your guys.
So we're going to go ahead and bunt Steve Angeli, Kenny Minchey, and the rest of the quarterback room into the same group, probably with a little more focus on Kenny Minchey. Geno Guidugli walks in. He has to feel really good. We talked about the first 2 guys. We talk about your freshman, Kenny Minchey, early enrollee, being able to get your hands on him early in the spring, which is very beneficial for a young quarterback coming into a new system and a new program, trying to acclimate himself as a student as well as a football player. And then CJ Carr is coming down the line. So now you're trying to implement a system and Coach Guidugli and what he wants to do with all of his quarterbacks, especially when they show up on campus. What's the expectation? Like Kenny Minchey, if you're Geno Guidugli, what are you looking at? How are you forming that relationship? And what are you expecting? Are you expecting him to just learn, or are you pushing him and say, yo, I need you to compete? I need you.
The way Gerard Parker is explaining how the offense is going to look as a collaborative effort, I'm sure he's probably explaining to Kenny, look, let's learn together. You're new, I'm new. Let's build a relationship that we're learning this on a symbiosis basis, that we're eye to eye on this, and let's grow together. And I think that's a good way of not pressuring Kenny on having to feel like he's got to play right now. I think that would only happen if we had an identity. If Gerard Parker was there for 5-6 years, and Kenny Minchey's coming to the fold, it's like it's laid out. The foundation's here. If you want to start, these are the things you got to know. But I think now we don't know anything of what we need to know, what we're going to look like offensively. I don't think any of the quarterbacks know what we're really going to look like. So for a guy like Kenny, he's just got to be a sponge And I think that's the right way that Gino will go about developing Kenny Minchie, especially these early years where we're all figuring it out together. So I'm not going to leave you behind because your knowledge base on what we want to do is no different than Sam's, no different than Tyler Buckner's. So maybe this even level playing field can help you develop faster because this is a system that is not like Tyler Buckner and Sam know so well that you're just so far behind. So maybe it makes it a more of a competition going into the fall for the year after this one, or maybe even this one. But I don't think we have time to waste with a guy like Sam Hartman coming in on making this a last minute decision on who the starter quarterback is, because it's just a waste of time to do that. I think that would be more beneficial if it was just Kenny Minchie and Tyler Buckner. But, you know, if you're going to bring Sam in and do all that, and Sam's is committed, you might as well run with him until the well is dry, or at least after one of the top 3 games we got to win. If he just trash after Ohio State game, I think that's a perfect transition to look at Tyler Buckner or Kenny Minchie and try to get that train rolling early. Because if we lose one of the 3, you know, it just puts us in a tough position of not making it this year. Because, you know, the tournament starts the year after this one. So, yeah. I mean, if we don't win one of those 3, it puts us in a dangerous position. And damn near if we lose 2, it's really no point in having Sam continue unless we just trying to get this dude to the league.
We get ready to have our guys from Rock Financial join us. If you have any financial questions, business questions, man, go ahead and put those in the chat. We talk to them each and every Friday as part of the Full of Culture Friday. You just mentioned something before we make this transition left, and I'll relate it back to what we talked about earlier. If indeed Sam Hartman cannot make it through the season as the starting quarterback, comparing Tyler to Deshaun, is Tyler Buckner not quite ready to come out of the oven, in your opinion?
I think Tyler Buckner's a little different because he can't stay healthy. So he's definitely not a finished product by any means. But, you know, I just think it's not beneficial if he can't stay healthy to see where he can really be as a quarterback in general, no matter where he goes. So I think that's an interesting case that we as Notre Dame has to evaluate and how we're even telling the truth to him. And like, are we going to wait for you to stay healthy, or are we going to tell you it's probably best if you find another home for your last 2? I mean, we did it for Drew.
Yeah.
But I think we know that Tyler's more talented, so we got a little longer of a leash. But, you know, I think this is an opportunity for Tyler to be aggressive on what he wants to do. I don't think he should wait on Notre Dame's decision because I don't think it'll pan out for his singular happiness. So I think if anything, he needs to be on the forefront of making a decision on what he wants to do before the team has no choice. You know, because that's the last thing you want is Marcus Freeman saying, "Clean your locker out."
Man, look,
go get your iPad for me.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Let's get to some of our comments. Paul A said, "No apology necessary." Of course, that's in reference to the apology you gave Notre Dame fans all over the world today for ruining the 15 and 16 seasons. Well, we appreciate that, Left. That was mighty big of you today. That was mighty big of you. Showed accountability, more accountability than Jalen Carter. Calm down.
Oh, man.
He said, "This is an amazing show. Thank you, calm down." Between Shaun making Cocaine Bear sound like an artistic critique on our culture's battle with addiction and storming off on Left and forcing an apology. Yo, we just love to have fun and talk Notre Dame differently than anybody else, man. And he said Cocaine Bear will be the first film he's seen in the cinema in years. Hope is worth coming out of retirement for. Now, I mean, you might want to reverse that and make Creed 3 the first one you see coming out of retirement, and then like sneak in after you walk out of Creed, sneak in to see Cocaine Bear. You know, am I saying like still a movie? I guess I am. I mean, I'm cool with it, man. Do you get mad when you see people coming into a movie when you know they just walked out of another movie? Because you can tell the way they creep in. That doesn't bother me, Left. It just doesn't.
Look, it's like you do your thing, and you was just smart today.
I'm all for 2-for-1s, especially.
I think we pay a lot of times because we don't.
Are you about to go the taxes route, bro? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying. I definitely think that we pay for things just for the lack of the hassle. We don't even want to think of what could happen
right
if we tried to sneak in. So we just don't even think about it and pay the fine. But some people live life on the edge.
I mean, heck, I hit the icy machine twice and only paid once the other day. So it is what it is, man.
But damn near, like you said, you got to get 2 movies in because the snacks be so high. It'd be $20 popcorn. That's 2 movies worth.
Now. Me and the missus spent $40.
They try to get you with the free refill.
Yes. We spent $40.
Yeah, that's worth 2 movies. It's like you only give it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Lucky.
They're only giving you free refills to go back to another movie.
Yeah. Man, for all of your business needs, whatever they might be, do yourself a favor. Go over to Rock Financial. No one can service you like they can. You're talking about approvals like that. You're talking about funding within days, not waiting weeks, within days. You have questions, they got the answers. Rock Financial. Go to rok.biz. Rock Financial. We welcome our guys, Ryan and Tony, For the Culture Friday, each and every Friday right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Ryan, Tony, how you guys doing today?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing? Can you guys hear us?
We got you good.
Got you guys good. So what do you want to talk about today, Tony? Because I know you have something special for us today. What are we getting at today?
So I saw some comments last week. Ryan and I were laughing at some of them. We wanted to kind of interact a little bit more and hopefully give you guys a little bit more information. Ryan works directly on the front lines. What I mean by that is he works with our referral partners and their clients every single day to get funding for their businesses. We do that in a wide variety of different ways. So I thought, what better of a way than hopefully have him tell a couple of cool stories about how his partners have taken advantage of the way that Rock operates. I know you guys mentioned as we were getting on here, how quickly we can get funding for businesses, and even outside of the football field, speed kills. And that's something that as a business or as a business owner, that, right? Like if you're able to turn on a dime and take advantage of opportunity, it really does help you. I don't want to say sleep better, but it helps you understand what's available, what you can actually do, and what's realistic, right? At the end of the day, there's a big difference between wants and needs, and that's where you find the most savvy business owners are able to take the biggest advantage, right? There's all these dreams that people have. Well, what resources do you have in place to get there? So really quick, Ryan, why don't you start with, how about this? Give me the top 1 or 2, I don't want to say like reasons people borrow, but like if you have like a story that kind of comes to mind, like what is 1 or 2 things that kind of comes to mind when, some of your more recent fundings?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I was saying kind of last week, I mean, it could really, every situation is different. Sometimes it's, when a business owner wants it, they're looking to grow their business and expand. So whether that's, using a line of credit to buy more inventory to flip that and increase their profits, or, if it's somebody having cash flow issues and they just need, some extra capital in their account to move around. So, I mean, especially for like construction or, your trucking company, your transportation company looking to add a new fleet, it always helps. So, yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, every opportunity is different. But
so really quick, and I don't mean to interrupt, but like when it comes to the funding that these people get, like, and I'm just trying to ask from, maybe the audience's perspective, like, how does it work, right? Like, so how would I typically take advantage of something like this?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, so as more as from the partner side?
No. Like, as a business owner, like, what do I need to do? Like what does it take?
Yeah, so I mean, minimum requirements, we're very flexible. So, I mean, we are strictly held to what we can do, but inside of having at least 6 months in business, our loans are based off of the cash flow of the business. So you're basically presenting, what is your business, deposited as far as into the business bank account. And then from there, what can they afford?
It's a good point. As far as time goes, right? Like, when we start to think about like some of like the traditional products that are out there, like I know we work with a lot of bankers here. Those bankers, they refer us their business clients because there's a good portion of the people that come to them that just aren't bankable, right? So when you have challenged credit or limited time in business, or let's face it, you might even be a bank client who's taken financing and you're just kind of tapped out, right? You can't go back to the well at this point because you've either taken funding too recently or your line is maxed out. Or let's face it, what's happening to a lot of business owners right now is you might have a line, but if that line was $1 million, now maybe it's 200 grand. Right. And that's where business owners are facing the most challenge is, hey, I was at one point getting much more capital or access to a much different style of product. And that's where we are able to help in a much more vast opportunity. And what I mean by that is when you have somebody that is that qualified, that they are basically or are currently bankable, to us, that's like a huge opportunity, right? Because we operate in the alternative world, right? So we see customers with as little as, like Ryan was saying, 3 and 6 months in business. If you've been in business for 3 months, you may know this already. But outside of the few outliers, 80 to 90% are really, really just getting started. You're more of like a hobby, right? Like you're really just getting going. If you don't have that many employees, trust me, 10 years down the line is going to look much different, right? So you want to start to think as a business owner and start to make decisions that are 10 years down the line, but make them so that they happen in 6 months, right? Like, how do you start to do that? How do you start to take advantage like that? Well, I can tell you, the savvy business owner, they take advantage of what's out there, right? If your funding is available through the bank, great, go take it through the bank. If you can come through Rock Financial, great, come through Rock Financial. But at the end of the day, the opportunity that you're going to have is certainly going to be out there, right? Like, just like you talk about on the football field, especially in the college world, right? Like a lot of these guys, the one thing that they may discount is that opportunity. Whether you are the starter, you are the backup, you are somebody who's brought in to push the starter, whatever your scenario is, at the end of the day, you're going to get an opportunity. You just don't know it yet, especially in college. There's injuries, there's guys going pro, there's guys doing this or that, right? Like, there's so many different stories about why guys back their way into a starting position on that field, man. And then it's all about what you can do. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like being a business owner, right? Like at the end of the day, your back is constantly against the wall. You're the decision maker. You're the end all be all. But realistically, there's a lot out there to help you. I want to give you guys a couple of things, and Ryan, feel free to jump in here. But like, when it comes to consulting for small businesses, there are free resources provided to business owners. One of the ones that I want to shout out is the SBDC. They're called the Small Business Development Center. They're nationwide, so no matter where you're listening to this podcast, they're in all different places. They're usually associated with colleges, and right around kind of the campus. But basically, they'll help you form a business plan. They'll help you take advantage of SBA style funding. They'll help you kind of really strategically plan effectively in your business. There is a right way to do that. There is the correct way to kind of organize your documents and your financial statements. They walk you through all of that. They'll give you, industry statistics. They'll give you state statistics, right? They'll be able to break down your target market and what you're looking to do and what opportunities are available. So, if you are somebody out there that's either getting going or you've been going for a while, you're looking to get to the next level, again, it's all about the resources you have access to. One of the ones that I would point to that's free, just like working with us, obviously there may be a cost to the financing you take through us, but we're not going to charge you any fee for application or anything like that. But the SBDC will never charge you. They're a free government resource that you can go to, get access to. I saw a statistic. We're out of New York, but the New York alone SBDCs helped over 10,000 women businesses alone last year. In 2022. So, you start to think about how quickly that number can compound. Obviously, it's not just women businesses that are out there. So, there's a lot more than just that were helped last year. But, there's people out there using it. And if you're not somebody out there that's aware of these things, I hope it's something you could take advantage of. But really quick, Ryan, one more question that I wanted to make sure that we get answered is like, when it comes to the funding, right? And everybody might not know this, like, can I get more than one style of funding, right? Like, is there the ability for me to say, hey, I got this equipment I'm trying to buy, but I also need some cash. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's in a case where, say you have a transportation business, right? They're looking to, like I said before, and maybe add a new fleet. We can maybe, get them equipment financing, get a new truck, as well as maybe pair them with a line of credit of, say, 100,000. So they can also pull from that for really whatever else they need in their business.
So even like employees or things like that,
like working capital line of credit. So
gotcha. Now, I want to toss it back to you guys for a second.
So we got a question too.
Oh, do we? What does it say?
Yeah.
There
you go.
Okay, there you go. Do you originate the loan or are you a broker? Look at that. Popped right up on the screen. Thank you. What a great question. We are actually a loan broker, and that's a place we're happy to be. It means we don't align with any one product out there or any one lender or bank out there, right? We offer over 75 different lenders and funders products on our platform. So, if you're accessing funding through us, you can understand that we're not a one-trick pony, right? We're out here able to offer you a variety of different types of funding from a variety of different sources. So what does that mean for you? All the shopping is done for you through us. So, if you are somebody that's looking to go and get funding, I personally believe a broker is where you would want to start. I use the mortgage broker for my own house. So.
And I mean, essentially, so, as that broker, we've established relationships with about 75, 80 different unsecured lenders over about 10 years of just doing business in wholesale, high volume there. So that's where, we basically allow with, as a business owner, you're not able to leverage your own reputation, leverage ours. We have them in our office all the time. Just had lunch the other day with another one. So
it's one of those things where it's one of those things where the service we provide is being able to take the business owner from application to approval and approval to funding, and not necessarily have to spend too much time spinning our wheels on, is this a good offer? Is it the right offer? No, we know based on the information that we have, based on the volume that we produce, and the amount of businesses that apply through us and the data that we see, this is what makes the most sense. And then, we'll let things kind of play itself out. What I mean by that is we may take the best 2 or 3 lenders that are available and let them compete for your business, right? One may come back with a longer term, which would make the payment a little bit less. One may have a little bit more money, right? So we'll tell them this information and allow them to kind of give the best blended offer of all of these examples so that you're receiving the best information and the best offer that's available to you. Great question. Is there any other questions that we can answer from the audience? Because that's the best way to do this.
No, I have one.
Love that.
So I'm just intrigued because the NFL world descended upon Indianapolis, right? You have a bunch of agents, and it's funny, right? Because we go on campus, and I remember going to the University of Illinois, and my guys at the time, Kevin Hardy and Simeon Rice, were both projected to be first round picks. And I'll never forget, it's like a month before the draft, and one pulls up in the Navigator and the other one pulls up in the Expedition. And I'm like, y'all haven't been drafted yet. What's going on? And I just wonder, like, it would be a great question. I want to throw it out there, like, for athletes in that position, anticipating being drafted, how should they approach any business ideas they have and funding that properly, whether they should use their money or leverage other people's money and funding to be able to get those things done? Because we've heard horror stories about players putting their money into business opportunities and, bottoming out, losing everything. If you're in Indianapolis right now, you're talking to these NFL athletes, and you had like 5 to 10 minutes to talk to them about how they should build their brand and build their business portfolio, and fund things properly, what would you tell them?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. There's actually I forget the name. I don't want to misquote it. But in the MLB, they actually have a company that will advance you money on your future earnings, essentially. And basically they get a cut of all future contracts that you receive. And I don't remember who it was, but there's a big league name right now. Like, I don't want to say like they either signed with like one of the massive Dodger contracts. I mean, not the Dodgers, maybe the Dodgers or the Padres. And like, this company is one of the people that allowed them to do that. They like bought their mom a house, and like, they were able to do some things and start to get their life going. One of the things that's a major difference, and I played ball a few years back, and I got a chance to be coached by some guys who played in the league and had some real cool things happen for them. And, one of the things that's a major difference right now is guys can get paid for their name, image, and likeness, So if you are one of those guys who is a top tier guy, you probably have a little bit of more financial savvy to you now, simply because you got a little bit more money in your pocket, right? Which, as they say, man, more money, more problems, right? So you want to make sure that you're making the right decisions. If I had the opportunity to talk to those guys, man, I would tell them, think like a bank, right? When it comes to risk, understand that rules all, right? Just because you're friends with somebody, you got to remember to separate business and personal. These aren't personal decisions, they're business decisions that you're making. And that's what it really comes down to. And you got to assess the risk like an underwriter would, and take all risk factors into consideration. Where is this money going? How are they allocating it? What is the opportunity? Who am I lending it to? What is their payment history? All the things that just because that person, if they don't pay their bills and you give them $100,000 of your hard-earned money, like, no offense, but that's not really anybody else's fault. You gotta take some ownership and accountability of that business, be the CEO of that portion of your, of your finances, right? I'm not saying you got to account for every dollar. You should hire a couple people that do that for you. But you should certainly make sure that I's are dotted and T's are crossed when it comes to those opportunities. And like I said, think like an underwriter would,
So as far as you came, where do you find the most success your customers have had in this business that you've been a part of? Where they can see the most success or succeed the most, working with you guys? Because I know I love you guys. I think you guys are great. I'm working with you guys as well. But where do customers see most success when working with Rock Financial?
I mean, I don't want to put this back on you guys, but I know you guys know it's the relationship, right? You may not take funding from us right now. You might be a startup. You might have not enough revenue in your business, right? You might not have been around long enough. But guess what? 3, 6, 9 months from now, 12 months from now, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here. I got a Mamba mentality. You know, I'm going to be in this thing for 20 plus years, and we'll see where we land. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to see where we can put this thing. But no, you know, at the end of the day, let's work together. You know, if you're somebody that does apply with us, you know, why can you get funding or can't you get funding? And what are the steps that we're putting in place so that the next time out, we are taking advantage of things? You know, those are all things that we're going to do from our end. We'll provide to you as a business owner. It's kind of up to you to take those steps and put them into place. But that's what the best and savviest do, is they start to let the dollars make sense. You know, and they assess cost effectively, right? They're looking at, you know, hey, yeah, this loan is going to cost me some money, but does that cost outweigh how much money I'm going to make with it? And if so, how does it work, and how can I utilize that to really make it make sense for me and my business, right? So again, whether you do or you don't is not necessarily the major case right now. Timing is everything. So when it comes down to it, you know, timing may not be right now. And the best thing we can do is stay in touch with one another as things change in your business, and as guidelines change in ours. That's how we'll stay in touch.
Once again, guys, Ryan Bowman and Tony Semino, Rock Financial, each and every Friday, right here on the Lucky Lefty
business.
Man, wait a minute. So do you guys, if you're talking about these agents now, right? Because the agents usually, you know, go ahead and front some of these players for them to be able to get homes for their families and everything. Who are they going to for the funding? Are they coming to guys and companies like Rock Financial? Or are they going to institutions, banking institutions? How does that normally happen?
A lot of them guys are probably backed by like family offices and investment funds that are put together. You know, I know a lot of those agents do well for themselves. I'm sure they put a little bit of a fund together themselves that'll allow them to eat on it a little bit more, you know, and let the money make money for themselves, you know. But no, I think, you know, as far as that part of the game goes, man, it's, I don't want to call it like a necessary evil, because that's not what it is, but it's just the way the game is, right? You know, some of the there is a means to the action, right? Like, you know, what I'm getting at is, like, I know guys that were pushing to get to the league that never actually made it there, that had a couple people in their corner that were helping them get along and helping them, you know, kind of see that dream through. And, you know, they may not have played in the league, but they got a chance to play in China or Italy or, you know, Germany or England or Canada or Mexico or wherever. You know, I got guys that played everywhere, tried out with the Jets, with the Giants, with the Packers and this and that. And you know, we're talking about, you know, not Notre Dame, you know what I mean? Like, you guys got a whole different ball game there, right? You know, so when you start to think like that, when you start to have those opportunities put in front of, you know, let's face it, some of these guys, you know, they're not from the biggest cities. They're not from the biggest, you know, opportunity. Not everybody's a 5-star all their career. Some of these guys are walking on these teams and making an impact there. You know, it may be the first time you're under these lights. You know, the best thing that I could say to you is the best thing that I say to business owners: align yourself strongly with some resources, do some research on the people you're aligning yourself with. You know, one of the most powerful things I ever heard is you are who you surround yourself with, you know, and you know, that's a powerful statement. You know, you want to be successful in business, life, football, any of that, you know, like, you know, when I started playing college football, the first thing I did was go find the guys that were doing it right. And I hung out with them. You know, and it may have taken my knucklehead self a couple times of figuring out who was doing it wrong once or twice, but, you know, it happens. But no, we more than anything, guys, appreciate you, you know, giving us an opportunity to come on and chat it up with you each and every week. You know, Financial Fridays is one of our favorite parts of the day.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, thank you guys so much. And we look forward to chatting it up again next week. You know, if there's anything that we can do for anybody on this call, like you were saying before, rock.biz, ROK.biz. We're here to help, guys. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Whether you're a business owner, you're even somebody looking, you know, you're coming across business owners, you're a consultant, as Tony mentioned, you're coming across clients that are looking for options, hit up Malik, hit up me, and I'll take care of you. So
that's right.
Absolutely. Ryan Bowman, Tony Semino, Rock Financial. That's Rock, ROK.biz. They're the best in the biz. Rock out with Rock
87 catch now got me laughing.
Yo, each and every Friday right here on For the Culture Friday. We thank you guys for joining us today. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Once again, it's our guys, Ryan and Tony from Rock Financial. Thank you all for the questions. Once again, we'll remind you guys next week, probably Wednesday and Thursday, they'll be back on and have more questions so you guys get answers for all your business needs. And Left, you can go and tell the Left is putting something together. He's working on some great things. I think you just launched your family initiative this week, getting into real estate and stuff.
Yeah, guys, if you want a chance to get in with my real estate fund, Blue Thunder, we're going to be, working with some properties in South Bend, building up the community in Dayton. So we work in 2 locations. If you want a chance to get in before it's too late, because once, we get into this public space and start getting this crowdfunding, we'll be off and rolling. So we got a lot of good developments. If you want to play a part and make some good money and be a part of something that's rebuilding the community, but also, getting around Notre Dame again and having a real piece of land that's close to the school. So whenever you come back, you can be a part of that real estate fund. So let me know. I'm always here every day on the Lucky Lefty podcast, and we do it the best over here.
Yo, when I was a student in Champaign, I always tried to get my dad to buy a house down there. They were cheap, and I'm like, Dad, you can always rent it out to students for like the next 20, 30 years, right? Like it's money. Well, I had to sell it to my dad, but my dad was like, man, I ain't trying to drive down there and be no landlord. I'm not trying to get up in the middle of the night to go fix anything or have somebody fix anything. It's like,
that's true.
No.
See, the key is you want to be in real estate development.
Yeah.
Because if you're in development, you can get a land plot, put 8 houses on it, and then sell the plot itself. And you don't have to deal with none of that stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy because I wasn't even thinking along those
bigger
lines.
when those situations.
Hey man, to be honest, I was just trying I was trying to get him to buy me a crib when I was in college. That's like I was ready to live in a crib and then collect rent from it once I left school. That was my mindset.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what's crazy is that it's like the client services is a tough game.
Yep.
Whenever you got to deal with other people and making money, it gets real tricky and sticky, So thinking bigger picture is where it's at, man. You can start building cities with real estate development.
Facts.
Whatever.
We'll see. Drunk Vigo. Thank you guys for joining and everybody else for joining the chat today, man. It's been fantastic. Left, you know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Stories of the Day, brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Premium whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. I see somebody called it Swarbrick Junction. And try to rename it. Left, I want to put Franklin Saint on the petty train.
Really? He was real with Leon. See, I watched
I do, man, because he was in a tough spot. He was in a tough spot, and he kept it 100 with his boy. He kept it 100 with his boy. But part of me just felt like I would have, Left, I would have told you just to go back to Africa, bro. Because I don't even want to take the chance of something happening to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro.
He had to be fair and tell him you have to pick his side.
Oh, I agree.
Like he did. He went to everybody and he was like, look, I mean, as long as you stay in your lane, we good.
Now, Jerome was petty. He was mad petty with the gift. I thought that was a dope gift with the mask and the
at that point, it's like, man, I'm not trying to hear none of that. They out there trying to kill me. I'm out here trying to get this money. You know, see how the security's tight.
Yeah, but it's your girl's fault that this whole war is happening.
It's your girl's, but he tied in. Even Franklin told him before he smacked Franklin. He said, your girl done got you lost in the sauce. She the reason. I think Leon shouldn't have came back.
No, he should not have.
Why they shouldn't have came back. And at this point, it's like, at least he gets a clear decision to make. He don't have to participate in any of it.
That's not, dude. You know what the decision is going to be. That's not even a fair decision. Are you kidding me?
It's your get out of jail free card. You got your girl, Wanda. You got her back right.
Hey, shout out. Her grandmother was mad petty, too.
Man, her grandma was mad petty. I'm going to close the door. You can put him on the door.
You put it on the hold handle. Yeah, that hurt. That hurt me.
But listen, if you don't rob me, then I ain't hearing that neither. What you mean? I don't care about you going to Africa. You rob me. Beat on me, talk crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
it was almost like Wanda had totally forgotten all of that.
Yeah, you went over there and forgot? No, you don't rob me, dog. So
she did kind of go to the door like nothing had happened. Like, what's up, Grandma?
Man, Grandma came straight to said, I ain't opening it either.
Yo, but ultimately, I would like to say, man, Ghana is beautiful.
Yeah.
The market is beautiful. I have to speed up the process to get over there. And definitely visit, the door of no return, all of that. Like, that's bucket list for your boy. That's definite bucket list for your boy.
They flew all the way out there to shoot that little scene too.
And I'm glad they did. It was authentic. It was real. It was breathtaking. It was painful. It was eye-opening. It brought a restoration to your soul and gave you a mindset of wanting to make a difference and not wanting to enter into the self-destruction that has traditionally been a part of the culture in a lot of different ways. And the decision that Leon had to make to not run away from it and want to be a solution.
See, I don't know.
That's a tough. No. I'm just saying that's a decision he had to make, and that's a tough decision. I don't think
tough decision. It looked like he was having a good old time over there.
It definitely wasn't a tough decision for Wanda.
Wanda's like, what you mean go back? But for everybody out there, $1,000 in Tanzania in American money is $1 million over there.
Though you can get. I have a partner. Who tells me all the time, like, Shaun, man, just buy some land and just rent it out to farmers. Like,
we might have to jump into a Lucky Lefty business podcast, throwing business solutions out there. I'll tell you another one, flipping lots. If you want to get in the real estate game, don't want to do all the hassle, buy lots.
Flat out.
If you flipping lots, you just got
to out.
You can build. They got two ways of doing it. Was it custom building?
Yeah.
The other standard or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, go crazy with some lots, man.
No, man. One day I just want to sit in the market, dude. Have a dude cut the top of the coconut off for me too.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just drink the coconut milk. Like, yeah.
Good,
natural, sweet coconut milk. Man. It was inspirational, bro. It really was. It was inspirational. But man, Franklin almost had your boy Big D on the toilet, though, bro.
Man, Franklin, man, he just so focused on it. Goes back to it, he want to move furniture around instead of getting out of the situation. You know what I mean? You can't just because you rearrange the living room don't make it a better place to live.
Yeah.
The house is bad altogether. You gotta get up out of it.
Yeah. It was a very as I told you, I thought it was a great episode. I did. I really, man, it hit on so many things.
But I didn't get how the Kane and Big D thing tied into everybody else beef. I thought it was just Jerome versus Franklin. They talking about
well, Big D is like the main seller for Jerome and Louis.
Oh, okay.
So he's trying to hurt them.
Yeah.
And hurt the business. You know what I'm saying? So because he can't find them, they got so much security that you go down the tree like to the next person available to hurt them, and it's Big D. So Big D was petty too when Leon first came back. Like, what, like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like he big boy and Leon. Leon, like, man, I put you on. Dog.
I put you on. What's your boy? The genius? He's carrying the bags when they come. I like that kid. I like that kid. He was like, yo, like, no, y'all went to Africa, like, for real?
Yeah, like, for real.
Like, what y'all doing back here?
Straight up. But, it's crazy. That's sort of a real story, like I said.
Yeah. So, Freeway Ricky Ross, who is kind of the model for this story, is he talks about he said at his height of business in the 80s, he had hotels, pretty much the same thing Franklin was trying to get into, and I still don't trust Veronique and her mom, like, for whatever reason. I hope
Mama and her don't get along or didn't at one point. So
I hope Franklin has somebody watching them.
He don't, because his mama so focused on the one little Mexican dude trying to get Teddy and shit.
The KGB, right? And the KGB is watching everybody, but then you have the FBI watching. The KGB is like this. I don't know how it's all going to end. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to end. Yeah. Somebody got to die. That's what it sounds like.
Man, I can't. What's the one dude? I'll give you two characters that just can't die. If I gave you two characters,
Franklin can't die, and his mama, or Leon, because I like Leon.
I can't. Leon can't go for me.
He can't go for
me.
He
can't. I would rather Franklin die than Leon.
I agree, because he at least is the most reasonable character that I can see myself playing in in Snowfall.
Yes.
He legitimately has a way out.
Yes. If Franklin died, I would be like, you know what?
Only because Franklin just taking it too far.
Yeah.
It's like the one dude in Power with Tariq, the light-skinned bald dude. That's the basketball player's dad. He was cool, but he was just doing too much. You just killing everybody. You just killing all your assistants and killing their. Like, come on, somebody got to get you out.
I think. What's her name? His security. The one that's still living. I think she's gonna come back on some revenge type stuff. That's my prediction.
Who?
You remember Jerome killed the tall girl that was up.
She said she was out the game. I think that scared her though, because Jerome
she's gonna spin the block on somebody.
Man, it would be surprising because Jerome beat the girl so bad it scared her though. She was like, man, I'm done, bro. I'm taking care of these kids. I'm finna be out of here.
What if they bring Mel back and she ends up helping Franklin?
I think he tied in with the shorty, but I think the shorty needs to be in the scene so they can screw him over at the end. Because I think he's just going something with the real estate. He's gonna show up to the real estate, and Jerome and one of them gonna meet him there.
Yeah. Man, Lucky Lefty podcast. You guys have a great weekend, man. We're going to start some new stuff. Once again, LL Chicago. LL Chicago. We're building a new podcast, our city podcast for the city of Chicago. Eventually, you're going to have a studio show each and every day right here on Lucky Lefty podcast representing Chicago sports. It will eventually expand to other cities across the nation. That's LL Chicago. Tap in. We already launched our first episode 1, dealing with the Chicago Bears, Ryan Pohl, the NFL Combine, and whether or not they will move back twice in the NFL draft. Not just once, but twice in the NFL draft. You can go and watch that on our YouTube page. We had Kenneth Davis, who is the host of the Under the Center podcast on NBC Sports Chicago, and also Football Night in Chicago. And we had Shaun, former NFL player, who is the co-host of the Shaun and Maya Morning Show in Chicago. For Left, I'm Shaun Davis. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your cinematic viewing, if indeed you are going to see Cocaine Bear or Creed 3. And we'll see you guys on Monday for another edition of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Spin it different.